Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today, thank you LEGO. Now, no one from LEGO may even see this video, but if you are from LEGO and you work with them, thank you. This video is kind of just an appreciation post. Now, I did something similar to this a while ago when I got the LEGO racing wheelchair figure, for the CMF. But there's been quite a few developments and I feel like I want to do an updated version of that video. So this is it. You can tell I'm running out of content, can't you? The reason why I'm making this is mainly because of a video that I posted the other day talking about Ninjago City markets. And that set doing something really cool and something that I don't think many other toy brands do. They made a fully accessible LEGO set. Or mostly accessible. Again, if you want my thoughts on the accessibility of that LEGO set, you can check out the video. I might leave it linked in the description if I remember, or you can just find it. It's the last video on my page. But yeah, this video is just kind of going over some of the thoughts from that, as well as some other thoughts I've got about other representations within LEGO. Now, I'm just going to get out of the way. Wheelchair representation and being legless within LEGO is great. There's nothing that I can really complain about with the way that LEGO do their wheelchair depiction, and I feel like wheelchair depiction and wheelchair users is obviously my strong suit as a wheelchair user. So that's going to be one of the main focuses. And with the Ninjago City set, obviously we've got Cyrus Borg, which in the Ninjago TV show is a wheelchair user. In the LEGO Avatar sets, Jake Sully, the LEGO set where he's in his wheelchair and he's got the sight 80 something, I think, maybe. That set also has wheelchair access. Now, I did originally record a segment in yesterday's video talking about that set, but I feel like it made the video way too long and kind of took away from the main set. But what I wanted to comment with that set is what they did, giving the LEGO set a ramp that the LEGO wheelchair could go up, and making the interior big enough that the LEGO wheelchair can fit inside and kind of make it seem natural. That set, they kind of has to make accessible, given the context of it and given the figures that would be coming. I feel like, other than like maybe making the ramp a little bit smaller, making the set less accessible would have severely downgraded the set in accuracy and playability. So that set, I'm obviously going to give it credit. It is a really good set, one of my favourite Avatar sets. But they kind of had to make it accessible for what it is. But Ninjago City markets, that set, they could have just not included Cyrus Borg and not included any disability stuff, or they could have included Cyrus Borg and not included any of the disability stuff. But what they did with giving us disability stuff and then adding in Cyrus Borg, or maybe they planned for Cyrus to be in the set and then decided to make the disability ramps and lifts and stuff. But I feel like the way that LEGO do their representation in that set specifically, and I touched on it yesterday or Wednesday, feels natural. Now, thinking back to other toy brands that do disability representation, one of the only ones that comes to mind is Barbie. Kind of fitting considering the movie came out. The fact that they've got the wheelchair Barbie, and I believe that there is a toy where her house has an elevator in it and it can go up to all the different floors. Yes, that's good representation, and yes, it's a toy that includes disabled representation, I don't know if you can tell, but I don't collect Barbie. I collect Lego like a nerd. But maybe that's something I could do in the future, is buy a disabled Barbie set and, oh, not really set, but Barbie toy, and kind of give my thoughts on that. But from what I've seen, is what they do is they'll have a wheelchair user Barbie, or they'll have a normal Barbie, whatever. And in the toy, in the main house thing, they'll add a lift. But what I've usually found with these, and even in things like Playmobil, I think, the lift is always felt like a side thought. It's always on the outside of the building, and you kind of have to go out through like an extension almost. So you've got the main house, and then you've got extension here for the lift. And it always feels like it's not properly integrated. But with Ninjago City, with Ninjago City Markets in particular, it feels like they've taken that into account throughout the entire design process of the set. You know, from the bottom floor with the ramp to get up to the cart thing. I can't remember what it was, but the thing that goes like that. You know, that is obviously one of the main play features of the set, is the cart. But the fact that they've then designed a ramp, even the fact that it curves, like so many ramps that I've seen and used have the U-shaped thing where you go up like a queue and turn back round on yourself. It feels like they've gotten someone that has a lot of experience with wheelchair users to design that section. And then even coming around to the little stair ramp. So when you get up to the top of the lift thing, not left. But anyway, when you get to the top of that, you can come out of the toy, come out of the little track thing, and then there's the option to go downstairs, but there's also the platform lift that goes up only like 4 or 5 studs. But in real life, that would be the solution to the stairs if they had designed that. In Thorpe Park, I believe, in England, there's one thing that stands out to me, and that was to go up to one of the rides. There's a set of stairs, it's only like 5 or 6 stairs, but next to it is this lift box thing that does the exact same thing, where it's only a couple of stairs, but it's just a platform that you go up to get to the next level. And again, that feels like they've covered a bonus kind of elevator that really hits hard with the disabled community. And then one of the final things is the Cyberborg building lift. Now, I did mention in that thing where it does feel a bit cheesy, or not really cheesy, but it does feel a bit kind of thrown in there. And that's, you can manually lift it up. With the ramp, obviously, you manually move the figure, but you're moving the figure anyway, so it is what it is. And then with the stair lift, the platform, it's a dial on the side that kind of locks it into place. With the lift, it's the platform from the bottom floor to Cyberborg's office and back down, but you manually pick it up. It's just on the guide rail, so you lift it up, and then this part drops down and locks it into place until you move the part, and then it just drops. I don't know how they would have done it, and again, I feel like that would have been going a bit extra, but in real life, lifts don't just plummet. So obviously, the intention with that was to be that you manually lift it up after putting Cyrus on there, lift it up, lock it down until Cyrus is about to go back down, then you lift it up again, drop it down with your hand. Again, that's probably how it was intended. But the fact that you just drop your Lego is kind of funny to me. Again, not really a complaint, I suppose, but just something that I think is funny. I mentioned yesterday that the section with the karaoke bar and the toilet, and there was another restaurant there, that did feel a bit off. It's the only part of the set that is not accessible to the wheelchair. But then again, in real life, there is a lot of places that aren't accessible to wheelchairs. And I also touched on the toilet not being a disabled toilet. And I also touched on the fact that if they had made it a disabled toilet, it would have felt cheesy and cringe, and I personally wouldn't have felt right with it. Not that I would have disliked it, of course, but I feel like if they had included the disabled toilet and kind of made the entire thing accessible, it would have felt like they were doing it to kind of get the good boy points for being disabled, the wokeness of it. But I feel like the way that they've done it, where they've included this disability access and still kind of made it feel realistic, feels like it's not done to make disability the play feature of the set, but it's done because there's a disabled figure in the set, so they've decided to adapt parts of the set for that. Again, what I'm saying may not make complete sense, but I feel like on the one hand, they could have done it where everything's accessible, everything is great, you know, they got the disabled toilet, whatever. That would have felt like they were doing it to kind of get the disabled community on their side. But in not making the entire set accessible, I feel like they've been able to, in my opinion, win over at least my heart as a member of the disabled community. So they've won over my heart by making it realistic, not the fantasy, everything's accessible, disabled friendliness. Anyway, I've gone on way too long about that one set. And again, a lot of that is covered from yesterday's video. But some other representation that they've got is in the upcoming LEGO Marvel CMF. They've got the amputee Echo. Now, the fact that they've designed an entire new leg piece for an amputee character, rather than just like printing it on, is amazing. Firstly, it's a really cool looking mould. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. And secondly, it shows that there is a difference, but the fact that it's still based on a normal mould, a normal LEGO minifigure leg, it still feels natural and it still feels like it's a realistic interpretation of a LEGO amputee. Does that make sense? Because the reason why I keep on asking this is because I say shit and then in my own head it doesn't make sense anymore because I've said it. So we've got the amputee representation. I believe we may also have had a amputee with the arms in Lego City, I think, maybe, possibly. Don't quote me on that though. I don't really collect Lego City, so I don't really remember what there is and isn't. But then you've also got deaf representation. They've got Lego hearing aid mold, not molds, but printing on the side of the head to represent hearing aids. And I think that's quite cool, the fact that they're now including other disabilities rather than just physical accessibility movement disabilities. They're now including hard of hearing and coming up with ways to incorporate that into Lego. Deaf representation, they've got blind representation, again with Ninjago City Gardens this time. They have Jacob. Now his representation, I'm not a member of the blind community, but I don't think is done the best. In the TV show he's blind and uses echolocation to get around. In the Lego set he's blind, got sunglasses on and has a guitar. Kind of feels like he's more of a band member rather than an elemental master with seeing, with a sight impairment. So again, this isn't really my subject to talk on, but you know, they've got blind representation. It's easy to come up with a blind cane if you need to come up with one, if you want your minifigure to represent you. They've also got the skin condition that I didn't search up from yesterday, that I can't remember, but where you've got the patchy skin. And again, I don't suffer from that condition, but from the looks of it, it's done well. You know, there's no harm that comes from that kind of representation in the Lego sets. So yeah, that was my talk on Lego's handling of disability, and again, it was kind of focused on the Ninjago City Gardens again, but that's because it's such an impactful set in my opinion, and I look forward to seeing if and what they do with disability in the future, whether or not they come up with a new mold for Kane, or I don't know. That's the only thing that came up with. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing where it goes in the future, if there's any other disabilities that they can represent. I remember touching on it in that previous video, like not yesterday's video, but the one ages ago. They have the Lego Friends minifigure with Down syndrome, I believe, maybe, possibly. Again, I don't really collect Lego Friends, so I can't remember much about it. But from what I do remember, they've done that. So that's cool. Again, another class of disability getting represented. And again, I don't suffer with a disability, so I'm not too sure how well it's executed. But it feels like Lego are doing it out of not just the inclusivity. They're doing it out of wanting their products to feel like an almost natural thing. Again, it's kind of difficult to articulate what I want to say, and I hope that it's coming across in what I end up wording. But I just want to say thank you, Lego. Keep doing what you're doing, and I will probably end up making another one of these videos in the future when you do something else incredible. That's going to be all for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, all of that usual stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!